Ladies and gentlemen, this is a disturbing day for free speech and this country, and it's been trending. For 25 years, I have been, thinking that at some point we're going to bottom out or reach a point where a majority of Americans are just going to put their foot down and say no more. But it hasn't happened. The fear and the intimidation of average, ordinary Americans is at an all-time high. The fear and intimidation that is silencing people. I've been following a story for the past 5 days, and I purposely have not mentioned it because I didn't want to have any influence on the outcome. I wanted to see where this went on its own. Yes, I'm talking about Brendan Eich from Mozilla. I wanted to see where this went before I weighed in on it. And there is cowardice. There is totalitarianism. There is political correctness doesn't even get close to describing what this story, for lack of a better term, is all about. Suffice it to say that Brendan Eich is an average, ordinary guy, happens to be a pretty brilliant computer tech engineer. He's one of the co-founders of Mozilla. Now, you may not know the name Mozilla, but if you use the Firefox internet browser, it comes from Mozilla. And Brendan Eich, E-I-C-H, one of the co-founders. And just recently, Brendan Eich was named CEO. And then, because of the law in California requiring that all people that donate more than $100 to anything in a proposition, a ballot initiative, have to be made public, some people found out that Brendan Eich 4 years ago donated $1,000 to Proposition 8, which was the California initiative to establish marriage as that between a man and a woman. When it was discovered that Brendan Eich 4 years ago had donated $1,000 to Proposition 8, the literal, what is the proper name for people who engage in this kind of behavior? It's not, fascist is probably the closest way. You could call them Nazis, but nevertheless, they went into gear, and immediately Brendan Eich was all over the tech media, described as filled with hatred and anti-gay bigotry. And his position, he had donated $1,000 to Proposition 8, and he had a personal opinion on gay marriage that was identical to President Barack Obama's in 2008. And in 2008, President Obama and his entire regime, officially, were opposed to gay marriage until they came up on some tough times campaign donation-wise, needed some campaign money, so Obama sent Biden out to all of a sudden announce that the regime had changed its mind on gay marriage. Now, Brendan Eich, if you look at a picture of the guy, it looks like he wouldn't harm anybody or anything. This is not the kind of guy that would hold a magnifying glass up on an anthill in the summertime and try to fry him. He's not a mean guy. He donated a paltry $1,000 so that he has been drummed out of Mozilla. And as such, he's been drummed out of the tech business now, more than likely. All because he believes that marriage is a union of a man and a woman. And he is being described now as a bigot and filled with hatred because he believes that marriage is a union of a man and a woman. He tried to hang on when the controversy hit I can say, look, my personal political views have nothing to do with the way I plan on running Mozilla. That didn't fly. They had to get the scalp. They had to take him out. They had to send a message to anybody else that your view, if you are in the tech industry and if you work anywhere in the tech business and you're going to become a powerful executive anywhere, you had better toe the line. You had better be in favor of everything the militant gay activists are in favor of, or we're going to claim your scalp. We're going to destroy your career. And everybody is afraid of them. So Brendan Eich is gone. For the identical position that President Barack Obama held at the exact same time in 2008. Brendan Eich, by the way, did not become an activist on gay marriage or anti-gay marriage. He just gave him some money. He didn't join any marches. He wasn't out trying to raise money, or he just donated $1,000, and it was discovered 4 years after the fact. 4 years. They made the donation in 2008. It was discovered maybe more than 4 years. Figure 4 years is when it was discovered. They think that it was at the LA Times. It doesn't matter. It was going to be discovered anyway. The law in California states that anybody gives more than $100 will be identified. It was. That law was enacted after these donations were made. Okay, so I'll double check on that, but I have just been informed that the law that says anybody who donates $100 or more in a California ballot initiative must be made public. Apparently that law came after the Proposition 8. Brendan Eich, just so you know, he also invented JavaScript, which your browser cannot work without. I don't think too many people know what it is, but at any rate, this is just, nobody stood up and fought for the guy. Not one person. And I find all of this supposedly done in the name of tolerance. Yeah, we had to get rid of this guy because he was intolerant. We had to get rid of this guy because we had to get rid of hatred. And the hatred and the bigotry and the intolerance here is all on the side of the fascists on the left. They don't care. They are delighted, folks. I got to tell you, they're happy as hell with this outcome because they know that it sends a message to anybody else. What now can be done? If you hire somebody we don't approve of, it's not just in the tech business either, folks. This is only going to grow and expand. Now, a bunch of people have written about this. One of them, John Hayward at Breitbart, and he makes the point, as I just did, that this is the same opinion at the same time that was once held by the President of the United States until he changed his opinion based on his need for money. And Mr. Hayward points out that if we had a president who was a real leader, he would have stood up here and just put a stop to all of this. And would have urged everybody to calm down. We're not going to claim any scalps here. After all, this is a point of view that millions of Americans have. And just because we all don't agree on something doesn't mean you lose your job in America if you don't agree with, in this case, militant gay activists. But, of course, Obama did not stand it because this is exactly the kind of thing that a descendant of Saul Alinsky inspires in people and promotes and quietly applauds, privately applauds. So from the same people who say we need to cooperate with one another, from the same people who tell us we need to cross the aisle and work together to come common ground and move ourselves forward. All these people demanding that we all be tolerant of each other and understand and condemn the hatred, all of the bigotry, all of the hatred, all of the fascism. is on the side of the people who are preaching and accusing others of it, which is true of so many people on the left. In addition to that, I didn't know until I read Jonah Goldberg's column today that it's published. I think it's the New York Post, but it's a National Review. He's a columnist, National Review. Apparently, there is a reporter at Gawker, one of the Gawker guys, which is, by the way, a gay, for the most part, gay website operation. Gawker, Gizmodo, and a number of. And apparently, there's somebody there that's got holds some sway, some influence with others in the business, demanding that people like me be put in jail because of what I'm saying about global warming. And that there is a professor, and we've talked about this particular professor, there's a professor, some Northeastern Ivy League school or semi-Ivy League school, who is promoting putting people in jail who do not agree with the official stance from the left on global warming. Now, you, in this audience, you need not fear, because in this story, it is not you who believe me who would go to jail, because you are just mind-numbed robots. It is I who would go to jail. I think the word is be put in cages. And believe me, 25 years ago, this kind of stuff, we'd laugh about it and make jokes and do parodies and satires. All the while, it was for real. All the while, these people really mean it. I'm telling you right now, if they could cage people that disagree with them on whatever it is, global warming, they would do it. And they get some people in academia. You get the wrong judge somewhere. You never know. If nobody... this guy that called yesterday, don't mean to make an example of him, 33-year-old Ian. One of his points was that everybody's scared out here. We're scared of doing things on our own. We're scared of this. We're scared of that. Remember we had a story last week about overprotected children. We got a nation of kids who are adults, but they've been overprotected. He said, Rush, you start talking about self-reliance and taking care of yourself. It scares people. Well, this censorship movement that's called political correctness, it's actually fascism, it obviously scares a lot of people, too. I have the statement from some woman, some official at Mozilla, explaining how everybody won here with this guy, Brendan Ike, being dispatched. It's an amazing thing. And she's scared to death, too. Everybody's scared to death over what? 2-3% of the population. They're just scared to death. Now take a brief time out. Open Line Friday. Remember, whatever you want to talk about, hunky-dory, fair game, 800-282-2882 if you want to be on the program.